Hey everybody, I'm Jessica, and I am excited to talk about one of my favorite solo games. Granted, it is one that is out of print, possibly coming back into print at some point, which I really hope for, but I still want to talk about it, and that is dun 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 Expedition Northwest Passage. I absolutely love this game. It is a tile laying sort of exploration game. You are traveling from Greenland into the Arctic and trying to find what happened to Sir John Franklin. It has a cool little intro in the rulebook that sets it up for this interesting exploration type thing that's going on. And it's actually kind of an unknown solo game because the official solo rules didn't come with this edition. They were released afterwards. So a lot of times looking this up, it looks like a 2 to 4 player game, but it's another one of those kind of hidden gems that I love. I really enjoy tile laying games in general. Just putting them out there, seeing how a map kind of evolves or whatever it is, but seeing how I get to change that up and just have a lot of fun putting out these tiles. I don't know what it is. Love those tiles. So what makes Expedition Northwest Passage so unique, though, are several different elements. So number one, I'm not going to take out all the components because I'm not, I'm in a small area here. But you have a map, and this is going to unfold and everything. But down here is kind of a cool thing to show. There's actually a solar disk, which is tracking the seasons and what happens. So as you're placing these tiles, they're going to have a combination of water and ice on them. Sort of those icy land masses, which not quite, it's just ice. But what happens is, depending on where either the ship or the sled is, because you actually can move your crew between those two and decide how many are on the ship, how many are on the sled. It's very, very difficult decisions. And going through and actually figuring out, okay, if I'm, at this point in the year, it's actually going to be, for instance, my solar disk, if we can find it in my bag of components, it'll actually, it doesn't look fancy. It's nothing over the top or anything, but it will actually indicate anything below the line is frozen. So that means the water is actually ice at that point, and anything, in the other area is open. So the water is not frozen, so the ship can go through. And the trick here is to figure out how to actually maneuver through the seasons, because the ship can get locked in. The sled can also get stuck on an island if everything melts around it and it can only cross ice. Inside this handy dandy draw bag, these are what some of the tiles are going to look like in the game. And they're double-sided, but you can kind of, flip them around, rotate them however, but they all have a combination. I shouldn't say all, there's a couple that are just ice or just water, but most of the time you'll see something like this one or like that. So you're trying to connect up everything as you go. So when you get to the edge, you can use an action to explore and continue moving. And what that does is you actually create a really cool map that it really is different every single time. You might say it's the same tiles that you're using, you're doing the same stuff. How is that going to be different? It is. I have played this many, many times, and I actually had a cool challenge I created for myself to complete the entire map during a play, which doesn't sound that, it's like whatever. But as I showed, there are seasons, limited actions, limited time. So the goal is to go from Greenland, figure out where that Northwest Passage is, and then go back to Greenland so everybody makes it back home safe and sound. I do care about my crew in this game. I feel really bad when they don't make it. Unfortunately, that goal to create a full map meant I could not get them back home. I tried as hard as I could. And it took about a year for me to actually get there, and I've completed the map a couple other times too. It's just really cool to be able to fill it in and see what that looks like with all the different islands and the different channels of water that you can travel through. It is very different. Sometimes you'll run into an area where it just, you get to a dead end basically. It's just water beyond that. But if I wait it out with the sled crew, it can freeze over, so maybe I'm okay with that. Other times I have had my ship moving along. I forgot to plan the return route, because it's not always just going the same route back and forth. Sometimes you need to meet up with your sled crew in a different area, pick those crew members up to make sure that everybody gets back to Greenland. I have sometimes planned poorly for this and run into literally a brick wall with the ship where it cannot pass through the ice, and I didn't leave an opening for the channel to get them home. So there's a lot of different decisions to make. The player boards look like this. And the nice thing about this is that all the actions at the bottom, that is what you can do. There's another one in the solo mode, but basically this is like a really nice reference card saying what you can do, what you can't do if you don't have enough crew members. And then there are also other things. I don't play as much with the tokens, but you can actually pick up different tokens and get more points at the end of the game. Again, I've kind of adapted it for myself to create full maps or just really have fun with the kind of the cartography element of it and the storytelling of the sled crew went here and then they got stuck, but then the ship got them just in time and they made it back home. So there's a lot of different things that can be done with this game, and I really enjoy it. Again, those tiles that get placed, I showed a few of them. For the most part, it's like, okay, it's water, it's ice. What is so special about it? But the order that these tiles comes out, there are a lot of them. Can we actually show that? There's a lot in there. But seeing the different order they come out and making different decisions, trying different strategies, because I have not perfected the best method. You definitely want to get your ship to a point where it doesn't get iced in and frozen in place. That's one of the worst things that can happen because it just kind of sits there for a while, not being able to do much. But at times, it might work out if you plan it where everybody's on the sled crew. So it's just really, really neat. I love the story again in the beginning of the rulebook. The rules are pretty quick and easy to pick up. And it just offers a really fun experience for, I don't know, maybe like 25 to 30 minutes is what it takes for a play, which is, it's quick and it's memorable and it's fun. So I really, 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 really hope that Expedition Northwest Passage gets reprinted at some point because it is just a great solo game. I enjoy this all the time. It's always in my list of top 20 solo games that I put together every year. It is just very fun, very challenging, but also just kind of a familiar sort of experience with once you get the rules down, you can try out new strategies, but it's just, okay, I'm placing tiles, I have to explore here. What is the best path? Do I really want to do that? Is that crew member actually going to make it home? So lots of cool decisions, and I love it. So that is everything about Expedition Northwest Passage. Thanks so much for watching, and take care. Bye!